Hello students, today we are going to discuss about the introduction to stylistics and the brief introduction and what is stylistics. So let's get into it. So the stylistic is the science in which it explores how readers interact with the language of mainly literary means text in order to explain how we understand what is written and are affected by the text when we read them. And stylistic is the scientific study of style, which can be viewed in several ways. More technically, stylistic is the study of the linguistic features of the literary text, phonological, lexical, syntactical, which directly affects the meaning of an utterance. And the variety in stylistic is due to the main influence of linguistics and literary. Stylistics is then a subdiscipline which grew up in the second half of the 20th century. Its beginning in Anglo American criticism are usually traced back to the publication of the books listed below, like Fowler, Roger, and Essay on Style in Language. There are some other books like Freeman Donal, Linguistics and Literary Style, Leach, Geoffrey, A Linguistic Guide to English Poetry, Seabook, Thomas, Style in Language. So these books are the collection of articles, some of which were either conference papers or article published in journals. And perhaps the most influential article is the closing statement, Linguistic and Poetics by Roman Jacobson, who is an important figure who contributed in the development of stylistics. Therefore, the stylistics is concerned with the examination of grammar, lexical, semantics, as well as phonological properties as discursive devices, and it might seem that the same issue are investigated by sociolinguistics, and indeed that is the case. However, sociolinguistics analysis the above mentioned issues seen as dependent on the society, social class, gender, age, etc., while stylistics is more interested in the significance of function that the style fulfills. Stylistics examines oral and written text in order to determine crucial characteristics and linguistic properties, structure, and patterns influencing perception of the text. Thus, it can be said that this branch of linguistics is related to discourse analysis, in particular critical discourse analysis and pragmatics. Owing to the fact that the beginning of the development of this study, the major part of the stylistic investigation was concerned with the analysis of literary texts, it is sometimes called the literary linguistics or literary stylistics. Nowadays, however, linguistics studies various kind of texts such as manual, receipts, as well as the novels and advertisement. It is vital to add here that none of the text type is discriminated and thought to be more important than other. In addition to that, in the recent years, so-called media discourses such as films, news reports, songs, lyrics, and political speeches have all been written within the scope of interest of stylistics. So let's get into the development of stylistics and the development of stylistics, given that it combined with the use of linguistic analysis with the psychological process involved in the reading. In the 20th century, stylistics can be seen as the logical extension of moves within literary criticism to concentrate on studying texts rather than authors, while in 19th century literary criticism concentrated on the author and the text base of criticism of the two British critics, Richard and William Epson, who rejected that approach and replaced it with the other approach called practical criticism. So, in many respects, however, stylistic is close to literary criticism and practical criticism. By far, the most common kind of material studies is literary, and the attention is largely text centered. Practical criticism concentrate on the literary texts themselves and how readers were affected by those texts. In addition, practical criticism is matched by the similar critical movement in the USA called New Criticism. So let's get what is new criticism. It is based on the description of literary work as an independent aesthetics object. Practical criticism and new criticism share two important features: an emphasis on the language of the text rather than its author, and an assumption that what is criticism needed was accounts of important work of literature based on the intuitional reading outcomes of trained and aesthetically sensitive critics, means the reader. Although both practical and new criticism pay too much attention to the effect of the text on the readers, yet from the stylistic point of view, it is not enough to criticize a text because intuition is not enough and we must analyze the text in details. So, Roman Jakobson, who is the member of the Russian formalist, is one of the most influential linguistics on stylistics for two reasons. For his academic brilliance, because he linked various schools of linguistics together. And Roman Jacobson moved from Moscow to Prague and joined the Prague structuralist circles who were interested and affected by his views. And later he moved to the USA where he carried his approach with him, which is now called as the stylistics. So let's get into the types of a stylistic. What are their types? A stylistics is sometimes called confusingly literary stylistics or linguistic stylistics. Like stylistics is the purest form of stylistics in that it's a practitioner attempt to derive from the study of styles and language variations. And the most recent studies in the linguistic stylistics have tended to focus on the application of studies in discourse analysis and narrative organization to literary text study, to study the literary concept of the text. So, in further, Burton in 1982 employs models for spoken discourse analysis based on the Sinclair and Coulthard in 1975 for the analysis of drama dialogue, and Shaw in 1981 used analysis based on the Grecian and speech act theory. Carter and Simpson in 1982 used narrative models based on Lebov 1972, and Fowler in 1981-82 exploits Hilliard models from within semantics linguistics. And when we think about the literary stylistics, it is the established method of close readings or practical criticism of text, and the procedures of literary stylistic remain traditional in the character in spite of development in literary theory like in post-structuralism, which challenge the assumption about the role of language in depicting literary realities. So I hope you understand this lecture and what is the introduction of stylistic. I have just given a brief introduction of stylistics, and this is my one presentation. And in another presentation, I will get into the details of the stylistics, like definition and what are exactly in the detailed form. So I hope you like this video. So please like my channel and subscribe to it. Thank you.